Hi guys, Matt here. This is a video response to one of TotalBiscuits Mailboxes where he responded to a question about MMOs becoming more like Skyrim now that WoW seemed to be in a bit of a decline. I can only assume that the email came from a young gamer as I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Ultima Online. Now, Ultima Online was the very first MMO I played. It came out in 1997 and was the first game you would probably recognise as an MMO. Now, I played this on a 56k modem, so I must have played it a bit later than 1997, but even then it was an unforgiving game. The video in the background is me playing in the 2D version. There are in fact two different engines that you can play this game in. As computers improved, the guys at Ultima Online tried to keep up with technology by introducing a new graphics engine. They failed, as most people tend to play the 2D because it's less buggy. I can't even get the 3D version to work, which is why this is recorded from the desktop rather than in Fraps. Although this long after its release, it's not really an issue because it looks like a lot of indie games that are coming out now designed to be less graphically demanding, like Dungeons of Dreadmore, for example. The UI, as you may see in the background, is entirely customizable. Now, this has its good and its bad points. You can see that the actual play area doesn't fill the entire screen. Now, I'm playing this in 1600 by 900 because when I played it in 1080p, the screen was really small. To the point where it was unplayable. I was having to lean forward, it was making my eyes hurt, it was not good. The other bad point is that there are no hotkeys, but this is sort of circumvented by the fact that there's an in-game macro creator. It's a bit more work, but you can create a set of controls that play the game exactly the way you want. The controls themselves are a little tough to get used to, as you only have an 8-point directional movement vector, and the view isn't always great. You can see a lot of scenery getting in the way. But, and this is a big thing that might get you interested, there are free and completely legal modded servers available that have introduced new graphics engines of their own. I think Iris 2 is a big one right now, but there are a lot of others. You can still play on the official servers, but the subscription is still about £10 a month. Now, if you've grown up with World of Warcraft, you will be totally unprepared for even the tame version of Ultima Online. Ultima Online has no factions, no classes, no teams, and all your leveling is skill-based in the same way that the Elder Scrolls are. There are several reasons that modern WoW players will go crying to their mommies after playing this when it first came out. The first is that every player was automatically PvP. There was no option to turn it off. Other players could kill you, steal from you, whatever, and when you died, all the equipment you had on you dropped with your corpse and was available for anyone to loot. Anyone. You could be like the highest level, you could have maxed out your character and die near a town and some complete noob could come up and take all your gear. If you died, you could lose everything. Obviously this didn't go down with a lot of players, so later on they added servers where you had to enable PvP and where killing or stealing actually got you branded as a criminal of different levels, and you could be killed without penalty. I think even if you're a murderer and you went into town, the guards would attack you immediately. They've also added a young player mechanic where the first 48 hours of your character's life, I think, none of this happens, so there's no noob griefing. When you die, you resurrect with all your equipment in your bag, and I don't think you can be killed by other players. I haven't seen any other players on here yet, so on that note, there are quite a few players still playing on it, but you have to get the right server. I think Atlantic or Atlantis has got a lot of players on. You'll see a full community in there. I picked the wrong one. I picked Europa. And that's pretty empty, although I am in one of a bit of a obscure town. One of the awesome things about Ultima Online is that it's the same as the Elder Scrolls in terms of skills. The skills you use are the skills that get better. If you want to be a samurai, and Bushido is actually a skill in this game, but you also want to play a lute, you can. That's the other great thing. You can max out your character and have absolutely no combat skills if you want. You'll see in the video the number of skills there are, and very few of them are directly combat related. Obviously there's things like swordsmanship and tactics and anatomy and things like that. But there are also a lot that are building skills. Music is a major skill, and you can actually use that to buff much like a bard would. Now, for several reasons, including lack of internet after we moved house, I didn't actually get very far in the game, so I don't know what the end game or even major dungeons look like or play like. But there are about a bazillion expansions for this game, so there's plenty of content out there. There's no chance of you getting bored, or, well, I won't say there's no chance of you getting bored. You might get bored, but there's no chance of you running out of stuff to do fairly quickly. Okay guys, that's my piece done and dusted. I may record some more of this in a let's play style, just because I'm going to keep playing anyway for a bit. I may also do one of these for Asheron's Call, which is another game in the same vein as Ultima Online, but that is another story for another day, so I'll see you later.